There we go. Turn that up. Hello.
Oh,
We're late.
never too early. We're late. We're late.
Slightly.
How are you doing tonight?
Hopefully good. It's
starting to rain.
It is raining out.
Yeah.
That's kind of a nice
I just snuck
thing.
out to try and get the indoor cats back in, and they were out there sitting in the rain. Oh well.
It's not raining very hard, but that's okay.
No, but it was some pretty dark looking clouds.
Yeah, but we kind of went a good portion of the spring. I guess it's now summer, but good portion of the spring with not a lot of rain. So
now it's making up for it.
The last week we've been getting a bit more rain, which is good. I don't know, how's the weather down your way been lately? Because you'd be a little different than us, I'm sure. And then you got me that.
I did already.
Oh,
I'm on it. You're on it.
Oh, now it's really starting to rain.
Oh, hopefully we don't have bad internet connection because of this. I see you've only got one bar there.
Hopefully it's working okay. Hopefully we don't have a lag. Now I can move over a bit, and then you can
on the slope floor. I keep rolling. Oh, we're in the craft room tonight because of the kids are here, so they're upstairs, and if we watch or do our live upstairs, they don't go to sleep.
Yeah, they want to be part of it.
Yeah, they want to be involved. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy. Oh, no worries about grabbing your headphones. That's completely understandable.
Yeah.
The hardware that accompanies all the various technological softwares.
Well, we keep saying we need to advance to getting a new webcam and stuff like that. We keep saying when we hit 1,000, we're going to do all these things. YouTube's going to be amazing. But yes, it's pouring rain right now, Cindy. It's like coming down. But we had it was 16 today. It was quite cool.
Well, cool. It's supposed to go down to 5 here, which is still not cold by any means. But
yeah,
considering it's pretty much the end of June.
Yeah.
Feels a bit more like what it tends to feel like in
May.
Well, I was going to say in the fall.
Or fall,
it
yeah.
Feels more like fall.
Hey, Chrissy. Hey, Hit Your Chick. How you guys doing tonight?
Hopefully everybody's doing good.
Yes.
Hopefully everybody's got most of their gardens planted. Or at least well on their way to being planted.
Yeah. We'd left the potatoes till the bitter end. And we didn't get them all in. We have all of our gourmet potatoes we got planted.
No, it's not true.
Okay, we didn't get all of them. We still have some more to plant, but we got a good portion planted in the ground, which is good because we are getting a little bit late. And we still have all of our Yukon Golds and our russets. We're realizing now we kept way, way, way too many potatoes.
Well, we kind of, on the seed potato front, the only potatoes we bought this year to plant were the Yukon Gold because we didn't have any, and we grown them in the past, but haven't grown them in a while. So that was kind of like a new addition. But everything else, because of how last year was with getting seed potatoes, we kind of went overboard and just saved way more of them.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, it's not a terrible problem to have, but it just makes it hard when you feel like you want to get them all in the ground.
Yeah. We've got some spindly ones too there, Kersey.
Oh, that's good that
and yeah,
everything's planted everything and looking good. That's the nice part when you get to the end of planting and it starts to grow and it starts to come up. It starts to look good.
Yeah, and you get that feeling of like, okay, it's all in. Now it's kind of
a waiting game.
Yeah. Well, and our goal this year is to try and improve our succession planting. I mean, we did really well this spring, but we have to not get complacent. So we've been saying now that the greenhouse is empty, we need to start some lettuces. We need to start some more kohlrabi and things like that to kind of go out and replace what we're eating now.
Your tomatoes will probably perk up pretty good. Our Scotia tomatoes are looking a little small
looking
and
sad,
spindly, but usually we find about 2 weeks after you get them sort of in, they kind of everything sort of perks right up.
Yeah,
which is kind of nice.
Well, to be honest, our ones that we got in the garden earlier are looking fantastic and grew amazing. But the ones that kind of had to sit in the greenhouse for the extra time,
they're coming.
Yeah, and they got
Become
kind of
light.
yellowish on the bottom, like the bottom half of the stem and leaves went sort of yellowy, just lack of nutrients, I'm sure, in the little pots they were in.
Or
So
crowding.
yes,
But
um,
that's yeah, our peppers are the same. I did notice on some of the peppers we planted first, there's a little bit of growth starting, but they kind of sat
they're just
quiet.
slow, like they.
And our eggplants did the same thing.
Yeah.
Now they've started to grow a bit more in the last week, but they kind of
Since we got the first bit of rain.
Yeah, they sat there for a long time and really didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. You're what kind of stuff are you moving from the seed starting bed? It's always
this is going to be terrible because you've probably done a video on this and we've been so busy we haven't watched anybody's videos. We try and catch a few lives here and there to kind of catch up with people, but it's been so hard to follow videos
once July comes.
Yes, we said once everything is planted, hopefully evenings and things like that we'll be able to
that's something we haven't actually really gotten into, is the cut flowers. You and Alex both talk about
Alex,
doing it.
our daughter, she's she will be 9 this year, and she really wants to do the flowers and cut flowers and arranging. And of course, we've been watching the You Can't Eat the Grass and learning a little bit, about some of the plants, flowers and things that, we want to try and start growing and things like that. But we do want to go down the line of a lot more perennial type stuff, and be able to still harvest and cut from that. But
nothing wrong with having some.
No, exactly. Well, what are the ones the redunculus ones or whatever, those ones that she's got going right now? Ranunculus, that's what it is.
Not the same thing.
Whoops. But yes, we definitely want to oh gosh, cats everywhere. Tibo wants to be part of the show. No, you don't want to be part of the show.
Yeah, we've always kind of been that way with Succession too. We always mean the best. Cat's shaking the table. We always mean the best, but don't actually get it working. And this year is like the first year we've actually done okay.
Yeah,
we can do better though.
Well, and we've got to keep going. That's the thing. We were really in the groove of the Succession planting in the spring.
Hello, Little Garden Big Dreams.
Yes, but.
Thank you for coming in from Australia. I always try to guess. It's got to be about midday.
Yeah,
give or take.
Noonish,
I'm guessing. But I never even heard of that type of pepper before. There's so many different kinds of peppers.
Oh, I know.
So many different kinds.
Yeah. Your daughter's 12. That's cool. Yeah, our cat keeps walking on the table and is shaking our thing. But yeah, Alex is always kind of, she's been at least a year now of wanting to do flower gardens and be a flower farmer. And
she has a few snapdragons that we purchased this year that she's going to play with a bit.
Yeah, but she really enjoys watching some of the, the YouTube stuff on that. And hopefully because flowers is one thing that I know very little about as far as what's good for flower arranging and things like that. I've always liked the little straw flowers, the little dried ones and things like that, but never really grown much other than the usual, like the coneflowers and daisies and things like that. So
I like that kind of stuff because once you get them going, they're easy because they're there.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about doing the butterfly garden and that sort of thing, which will really help.
We've got a bit of a start, but yeah, the weather has been kind of up and down. I think Crucy, you're a little different growing area than us, but not significantly so. And Brampton Gardner, you're the same, right? I think you're a little warmer than us for hardiness zones, but yeah, it just seems very all over the place this spring. It's yeah, that's the best way to put it.
Well, and then in the plants, like they just get going, and then it seems like something changes and everything just stops.
And it's kind of like we were talking about this with always goes back to radishes, where we've got good growth on radishes, but they're kind of doing that same thing where they're not really like bulbing up and stuff, but it's because we keep going, we're cool and they like it, and then we go hot, and then we go cool, and then we go. So there's no happy medium. There is no good radish season here in the spring.
Well, we've never had luck with radishes anyways. We've not had any success growing them. So this will be interesting to see. Although saying that, I have not actually looked at what the icicle radishes are doing. I don't know how long they are though.
They take a little longer. But we're glad you like the channel.
Thanks very much, Kathy.
And yeah, I wasn't too far off. I said kind of midday-ish, so 11. That's not too far off.
Well, Our channel is definitely puttering along. We're so excited. I think we're at 995 today, which we're for subs. Which
995. And what were we on the watch hours? Because they were both coming along really.
Yeah, we need. I think it's 280 watch hours, but
which isn't bad.
Yeah,
that's under the year.
We're pretty excited about it. She's a mad girl.
Oh, that's awesome that she enjoes it. I think.
Or no, I think she's talking. Are you talking about the? She's talking about Can't Eat the Grass.
Oh, I thought she was talking about her daughter.
Oh, I don't. Oh, maybe has Dar done some flower arranging videos? We'll have to watch those because if so, that's really cool. All but one of my radishes bolted. So we haven't had that. Nothing. It's just they're not beautiful greens, but absolutely nothing. I did pull out one radish and it was like
maybe just
nickel size.
Hello,
that's
Hidden Springs.
Hey, Chad, how you doing?
Cat races. Sounds like thunder.
Actually, our rain's over, so it didn't last very long. When did we? It started when we started. So how long have we been on here? 10 minutes.
10-minute rain.
Yeah, that was it. Flowers.
That's cool though that there is a resurgence because I think we've got the same thing here. So, potentially a bit slow of a resurgence, but definitely people are interested in it again. Which I think people are just interested in growing all sorts of stuff,
natural type stuff and things like that, right? That's interesting about you're saying the tree gum foliage for the greens because I can't remember somebody in one of our lives mentioned to use our mint as the green foliage in bouquets because we have mint everywhere on this property. Yep. And I never even thought about it, but it would be wonderful because it smells so amazing. And the channel is called She's a Mad Gardener.
We were both wrong.
There we are. Okay, let's write that down.
You got our book.
Let's just squiggling. Squiggling here.
Grab the book. The ever-present
She's
book.
a Mad Gardener.
I'm gonna go back to. I've never actually tried the seed pods, but I've heard that they're good. So hopefully we'll get a few. I think the icicle radishes they produce a lot because we had one bolt once and they produce a lot of seeds. So it'll be something interesting to try.
Well, we noticed that, I don't know if you saw the video we did where James put out his experimental squash ones that he had started in the house, which we don't normally do. Usually we plant the seeds right in a hill. And they were so slow. Now they're doing something, but they were 3 weeks in the ground before the plant decided it was going to do something. So
they looked fine. They just weren't growing.
I'm very curious to actually, we've got some squash that we still need to plant. And I'm very curious to plant them and then plant beside them some seeds and see what happens.
Catch up or not.
Because we did find this, hey Cassie, hey Thorhaven.
Cassie.
We did find this with the Kajari melons as well.
Last year when we
from transplant, we put them in and they just were so slow. So then we put some seeds in just because we thought, oh gosh, they're going to die. They're going to do nothing. And the seed ones actually did better than the transplant plants. So this year we did transplants again and
they're starting to grow.
They're starting, but they seem slow. So I'm almost tempted to still put in a couple seeds just to see if they do better. Yeah. Because we need to figure out what stuff, like we know beans, obviously you're just planting the seeds, but what stuff is better to start ahead and what's not.
Oh, she uses
she's mint too. Yeah.
We should try it because
yeah,
we've been, I just eat the mint. I go out in the garden and like pull one out.
And we use it as rabbit food.
Well, that too, but
lots of rabbit food. Our rabbits have the nicest teeth and best breath.
Well, there's all sorts of good properties to mint though.
We are doing fantastic on this amazing night. How about you? Long time no see. I think we saw you in Creekside's live a little earlier.
We were 1 minute late.
Yeah, we were a little bit behind schedule, of course, but
at the same time, tonight was actually a bit more relaxed than some because we were trying to.
Well, we made the mistake last week of doing our live at 10 o'clock, and it was hard because we were out in the garden, going, and of course, then it just you get later and later coming in, and the day gets longer. So by the 11 o'clock on our live, I think we weren't making any sense whatsoever anymore. So we decided this time we're sticking to the 9 and we're going to make sure we're in. And in all fairness, I had a nap.
Yeah, you had a nap while I worked.
I had a nap while Chris worked at home.
That's all right.
Worked his normal job, not homesteading job. But anyways, so yeah, we're rejuvenated and ready to go. I am anyways. You're probably going to be not making sense in an hour. And then I'll just hold down for it.
I'm good. But, yeah, it's just something we've noticed. Like I know like the squash melon family or group, whatever you want to call it, isn't super keen on being transplanted and having its roots bothered. But we had done the squash, and they were in big seed, like
they were in like the big tree pot, like what you buy, like berry bushes.
Yeah, like raspberry bushes and stuff, and they were in big pots, and they did okay, to be honest. It's just they went in. They were happy. There was no.
Oh, they look healthy. They just
amazing. They just didn't do anything. Now
and
they're starting.
Now it's the same thing like what we said with our eggplants. The last week, they've really started to go. Like there's blossoms on them, and they've shooted out some more of their
vines.
Vines. That's what it was. I'm like, but yeah, It does seem really weird, and I think that's one of the.
You still definitely can put seeds in. It's not too late for the squash stuff.
Mm-hmm. I still think
they may go like you may have to watch them kind of in the fall. You may have to cover them or whatever, but you'll still get stuff out of them.
Yeah.
We have planted later and still gotten squash, but it's not recommended to get into July trying to plant them. Yeah, I think like everybody's kind of saying the same thing on that. It's just I think it is the temperature ups and downs that are doing it. At least for us, kind of locally.
Well, it's like tonight being 7 degrees. Like we're almost July. It's crazy. Like the plants probably can't figure it out.
Fresh smelling rabbits.
Yep, they definitely are.
Good breath.
Yeah.
Make sure we feed
them.
And
it's got to be good for their teeth because it's good for our teeth. It's got to be good for their teeth.
I'm sure it is. No, it's good to hear everybody. Like people's gardens are going well because it's such a big. So one thing we've always said about gardens, it's great to have them. Depending on, you can save a lot of money doing it because you can grow a lot of food, but it's a lot of work in a short. At least for us here in our part of Canada, it's a lot of work in a short period of time.
Yeah,
to get
you got to cram so much in. Yeah, does make it a little difficult. I would. Well, we have the best of intent. Like honestly, I keep saying all the time. Okay, 10 o'clock, got to be in bed. But we end up where we do our editing after the kids go to sleep all the time. So you don't even start editing until 9, and then you try and kind of watch a video or two or like catch a live or something, and next thing you know, it's midnight, and it's like and then the rooster's crowing at 5:30, and you're just like That's me anyways. That's why I have to nap. And I missed a beautiful day for working outside, wasting it napping.
That's all right. We've got lots of stuff done up until you're allowed to do that occasionally. Yeah, that sucks. That's with the frost, but you'll still get stuff out of them from the seeds. There's still enough time.
Mm-hmm. Do you find you grow quite a bit of the winter squash as well as summer squash, right? Just how long does winter squash take?
It's usually like if you planted it beginning of. You'd be probably end of September, middle to end of September at the earliest, depending on the variety. Some are a little longer than others, but that's cool that you're growing poppies. Because I actually
mystery ones, is in like every year they'll be a different color, or just you planted a bunch of seeds and don't know what color they're going to be. Curious on that.
Well, I was going to say I want to try growing the bread poppies because
they're the ones you save seeds from.
Yeah, you can use the seeds in baking and stuff. Thought about it this year, but didn't get that far.
We have lots of these like little poppies around here. The little ones.
Yeah, they're not up yet.
No.
They were here when we came.
Yeah, they were here. We discovered lots of fun stuff on this property.
3 degrees is getting pretty cool for June. Not.
So did you run out and cover everything? I would have had all my sheets out for sure.
Yeah. Well, we put the sheets away there because we had to do that.
Yeah, though that's like what Cindy Squirrel was saying the other day. She just washed them all and then had to bring them all back out. That'll be us. They're up in the loft again, and you watch. Then we're going to need them. At
least they're accessible.
But
up there.
Okay,
that's cool. You got
swaps
them
to get them. That's neat. Yeah.
Well, I've always thought the various poppies are quite pretty.
Yeah. The kind of it's one of those things. I have a hard time with flowers because I like something that's going to flower long enough. I think that's my biggest thing. Is like we have a beautiful peony, and it looked incredible, and then we got a rain, and now it's just done. Same thing with the irises. They look beautiful, and then they're done.
Yeah,
I want to try and that's why I like the cone flowers too. They're open for a long time. We're trying to find some good flowers for that sort of thing that are open longer,
stay pretty longer.
Yeah. And it's not just a bunch of greenery after. But saying that, we have a whole bunch of stuff that we still have to plant. The hostas and all that sort of stuff. We just,
Yeah, they're in the tote.
Yeah,
another thing in black
totes.
Plant. But yeah, we used to grow spaghetti squash, but then
I don't like spaghetti squash.
Well, yeah, we found we didn't really use it, but
it ended up feeding animals, and they didn't like it.
No. We've got a ton of Canada crookneck squash in this year.
A ton. So this is a story for anybody that was not in our live last weekend or last week, whatever. I kind of gauge my weekends on our live day.
Tuesday's the new Sunday.
Tuesday's the new Sunday. Anyways, last week in our live, we discussed that we had planted the Canada crookneck squash, which is the same squash that if anybody watches Living Traditions, they grow. We'd gotten the seed, the fruit. Was it fruit?
Yeah, we got one.
Yeah, we got one from our friend Miles,
who also has a channel.
Who also has a YouTube channel, and he had done a video on harvesting his Canada crookneck, and he'd gotten 320 pounds out of his plants. So, anyways, we got one of those, and we saved the seeds. And Christopher thought, "Oh, we really like those, and Miles did so well with them. We better plant a lot." So Chris planted. Well, you planted 54. There was 52 plants that came up. And so last week on our live, we asked Miles how many plants he planted to get that 320 pounds. And he planted 8 plants. So Chris kind of went overboard with planting a lot more squash than we probably need. So I guess we're going to become the squash sale people at the end of the driveway. We're just going to put the squash down there to sell them. But anyways, we're going to have like 2,500 pounds of Canada crookneck squash.
Well, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Anyways, Miles commented on the video today and said he's interested to see how we do with all that squash. Sorry, that was my digression. That was story time.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do find. Like the poppies are quite delicate. They're there and then they're gone. But I think it jumped a bit. It's the one thing I will say. A lot of the annuals are nice.
Yeah, well, we want to try and get some that.
Hello, Guten Gardening.
Hey, we want to try and get a couple of annuals that we can start saving seeds from and stuff like that too, so that we can just grow them every year. Whatever we call them. Propagate them.
Yeah, things you can just keep going.
Yeah, I don't know if our snapdragons will actually go to seed where you can collect seeds and then grow them next year or whatnot, but
maybe you can. If not, we can figure that. We can figure out snapdragons at will. But that's pretty. It's always interesting to come across a family of skunks. That would definitely.
Back in the house is definitely a good idea.
Time
you have a dog, do not let it out.
Yeah, I do agree. It is nice if you cook it properly, but we were not getting. Basically, it was so prolific.
Well, we had so many.
We didn't get through it all. It was,
and it was just one of those because it crossed with what one?
It's Cubripepo, so it crosses with the summer squashes, the zucchini.
Yeah, so because we only grow one type of squash from each of the species, is that right? Subspecies, whatever, the ones that don't cross.
The four
they don't cross. So we only are allowed to grow 4 types of squash every year.
We do like squash, actually, so it's a good problem to have.
And so if we grew the spaghetti squash, then we could not grow the crooked neck. Without having to do hand
pollinating.
So we just choose not to. We only grow 4 types. So that's this year we're growing the Canada crookneck, the actual yellow crookneck for our summer squash,
which is Cubripepo.
Then we have the Tennessee sweet potato,
which is the 4th one that there aren't.
And then our big blue.
No, it's not Tennessee. It's the Kershaw green stripe.
Okay,
one
green stripy one. We didn't do the Tennessee one, right?
They look very, very similar, but they're not the same.
So, anyways,
that was
our
we will have to do a weigh in on the squash when it comes. Hopefully we're swimming.
We'll have more squash than Thorhaven's cow.
Well, it's
going to be a competition between us and Thorhaven. What produces more weight, squash or cows? And what costs more to raise?
Wow. Yeah, but they're better. They're better in tandem.
Yeah.
That's awesome that you guys have a.
Oh, sweet! We'll have to do like
if you haven't tried it, they are
amazing.
Really, really good. Like, basically, my understanding is they may not be like the direct ancestor, but they're the kind of the forerunner to the Walton butternuts, the more sort of standard butternuts, because they're the same species. And really, the big difference is they bred down the neck on the Canada crooked neck, which is where all the meat is.
Yeah.
But the flavor is
each individual fruit, like that fruit had to have weighed 10 pounds.
It was pretty heavy.
Like they're big and all meat, very little seeds. So you do have to have a lot to save seeds from. But I shouldn't say that.
One squash.
Saying that, now that I know that you can get 300 pounds out of 8 plants, you don't need to save a lot of seeds. Just somebody likes to go overboard.
It was good. That's why.
It was good. Yes, I will admit it was good.
And it's kind of fun that it is sort of.
Yeah. Well, we got to taste it before we decided to switch, because it was either that or the butternut, because they cross. And we do love the butternut. Don't get me wrong. We love it. And we did save our old seeds just in case the Canada Crookneck didn't work out. But when we tried the Canada Crookneck last year and compared the two side by side in dishes, the Canada Crookneck won. So
they're sweeter, and I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. Well, and we kind of like the idea of growing Canadian stuff, like with the Scotia tomatoes. Then we got the Subarctic Plenty, which was from, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a total mind blank on who gave us those seeds. They're our neighbors. Oh my gosh. Yes. Anyways, it'll come to us. It'll come to us further in the chat. But yes. Yeah, we do tons of squash, and we also save them for animals too.
Mm-hmm. The one, the blue one we have, which I think I know the name of it. Can't remember it right now, but kind of how we got it. It didn't come with a name, but it's something that it's quite sweet as well, and it's a Cuber maxima, so it's like the big Hubbard type squash.
Yeah.
And the animals like it a lot, but they don't like all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay because we like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the butternuts.
Hey, Urban Girl, how you doing tonight?
The butternut squashes and basically like the Canada Crookneck looks almost exactly like what you think of a butternut. They're the same color, maybe a little more orange. They just have a huge long neck.
That's all meat. Yeah.
And that's kind of they don't ship well, so that's the dilemma, right? They may have more flavor. Maybe it was just that one. I don't know, but they don't ship well because they tend to break those necks off if you ship them long distances.
Yeah. Well, definitely, Guten Gardening, we look forward to your review on it and see how yours are doing. Like I said, we planted 52 of them. So,
to be honest, I've never heard of this toxic squash syndrome. Happens saving seeds certain times. So you may have to explain that to us. Now I'm curious. Walked into something good. Canada Crookneck.
Yes. If you don't know Canada Crookneck, I keep referencing them because so many people do watch Living Traditions Homestead. Living Traditions grows the Canada Crookneck, which actually was developed in Canada. What part of Canada was it developed? I know Miles answered this question last week, and I didn't remember because I was tired.
Iroquois descent.
Yeah. So,
if you like butternut, I mean, we're just kind of going on and on about them, but they're definitely worth trying.
Yeah,
because they're very, very similar. And
in next year's Canadian Seed Challenge, everybody's going to get Canada Crookneck squash. We gave everybody Scotia tomato seeds this year. Everybody's going to get Canada Crookneck squash next year.
No, that'll be
and the Kajari melons, because we found out that they did really well.
Yeah, our Kajari melons.
Our seeds had excellent germination, which is awesome. Sure, yes. And I do want to also say, while you're still in here, Guten Gardening, thank you so much for sharing our channel on your community page the other night. you did. I know you were kind of giving us a little boost there. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, and we very much appreciate that. We did. I have a feeling we got a couple from that, which is fantastic because it did go up throughout the evening and a couple in the morning. So, as much as I'm going to say that's on our wit and whatever, I'm going to say that it was probably your community share page there that helped us get a couple more. We only need 5 more subscribers. And oh my gosh, I'm like exploding. I'm super excited. Honestly, I'm most excited about having a community page to be able to share people's channel. Like people always say, oh, share me out, share me, and it's so nice to be able to do that sort of stuff and be able to, sometimes all you can do is throw on a photo. I see other people somewhat use their community page a little bit like Facebook, not going over the top, obviously, but sometimes it's just like, I can't get out a video today, but here's my garden and what we've done, that sort of thing.
Just another thing. Hello, MB. How are you guys tonight?
Yes. Sorry, I was talking really fast. But, we're doing good.
We're eating
wild squash.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
What's wild squash?
Well, they're those 4 species and their undomesticated versions. One of them's really neat. There's you can get varieties that are fairly similar to the wild ones. They look like little eggs.
Okay.
But yeah, that makes sense.
Yes. Oh, well, but we have to figure out about how to send some seeds to the States, because we definitely have some people that would like to try a few of the seeds that we've gotten. We would definitely share them. We just haven't figured out exactly.
It just takes it's not crazy hard. It's just an extra step. And we didn't have that time this year, but
this year on the exchange, we'll be able to, hopefully.
Well, we grow another one too that's yellow crooked neck squash, which is a summer squash.
Yeah, we love that one.
And it's another one of those ones that it's got an amazing flavor. I think it's different than zucchini and stuff. It's I don't know how to describe that one if you haven't.
It's got more. The thing I like about the yellow crooked neck summer squash instead of zucchini is it actually holds its
form.
Yeah, like when you cook it, it doesn't go mushy. It stays as a nice kind of firmish vegetable, which I like. Yes, Thorhaven, come on, 1,000.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun, like you say, to have the community page. Just one more thing to.
I think so. It's just another little way to kind of keep in touch with people and communicate and share stuff. Because sometimes, like I say, it's just a case of something like, you just got a quick little shot of something and it's not worth a whole video, but it's still a great little tidbit that, I know I like being involved in people's lives. That's me. I'm just nosy like that.
That's awesome that you were able to get some of them. What did you think of them? Because we quite liked them. Like, to be honest,
we saw them on Roots to Refuge.
Yeah, that's where we
heard about them, and we were like, we need to try these.
We have grown melons, but never very successfully. And those little guys,
they were prolific.
Yeah,
like we couldn't eat them fast enough. They were just.
They didn't have a good shelf life, but it didn't really matter. They were, you just go out and eat a whole melon.
You would just go and take a spoon and just,
glad you liked it. We're just
thank you.
Kind of like last year when we started, we kind of just started in the thick of it. So
you liked that one best because I didn't have Chris involved at all. I did that one all on my own.
Well, and I haven't actually watched all of it, but I know you did the thing where you stood up in the loft and you could see over it, which is kind of fun.
Well, and the tilling of the new garden, and it was kind of bouncing around, but it was fun. That's one thing I think as you get going with the video stuff, you do get. Like, it honestly just seems like second nature to have the camera and talk and be all.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's kind of fun actually.
I have to admit I do like it.
Yeah, it's got a firmer texture, and like
the yellow
I think you said that it freezes really.
Oh, it freezes,
which is nice.
The yellow crookneck squash, the summer squash. I have to clarify that now because we have the Canada crookneck and the yellow crookneck.
No relation.
No, but the yellow crookneck squash. What I did, I hate blanching. I hate having to blanch stuff to put it in the freezer. I do not do it. I can't stand that. And all I did was I took it, I sliced it, took out the seeds and stuff from the center. And just cubed it up into bite-sized pieces that I would throw into a stir fry. I laid them on a cookie sheet in the freezer and just flash froze them and then just bunged them in a bag. And I kept filling bags with them. And all winter, we just would grab a handful out of the bag and toss it into a stir fry or into a fry up or whatever. Roasted veggies. It was amazing.
Yeah, it works pretty well.
Yeah, but definitely cooked. It still holds its structure. Where I find zucchini, it's like when you go to roast zucchini on the barbecue, the middle gets all soft, and it's this doesn't do that. I love it.
And there's a really good. We'll have to look it up again because we haven't made it in a few years. But there's a really good, like the equivalent of zucchini bread, but it's yellow crooked neck summer squash bread. It's I really like it. It's grated up, very similar, but I don't know. It's just got a different taste. But we haven't actually tried. I've heard of Turk's Turban. Haven't tried it. We've because I think Turk's Turban is one of the Cubra. I think it's Cubra Maxima, like the Hubbard type squashes. We've tried this blue one we have, which we quite like, and we've definitely tried the red curry squash. And there's another one that's in that group that I've tried.
The delicate were summer squash.
The delicates Cubra Peppo. Yeah. Really like them too, but it was getting too hard to have both of them.
Really? Well, it's a good thing we don't have anything that can cross with them.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting. It'd be interesting to learn to look into that a bit more. I wonder though if it is with the wild species because the wild squash are still in North America too. So, yeah, that would be.
What? We haven't made her a moderator?
And we could do that. But yeah, definitely, if you want to send that to me, that would work. Be interesting to. I'm always up for learning. I figure that's. We're going to do a video of what we think the two biggest gardening tips or best gardening tips ever, and that's one of them. Just keep learning. Because there's always things to.
But don't give away the second one.
No.
Otherwise, nobody will watch the video.
No, exactly. Yeah, this is kind of what we started to notice. We used to blanch them all the time, and then we started. You did it with the beans. I forget. You've done a couple other things, and it doesn't seem to make any difference. The one thing we will say is it is nice to freeze them on the cookie sheet all spread out because then you don't get a big clump. But other than that, that's about as complicated as tends to get.
There we are. Cassie, you can drop the link now. You're a moderator. Should show up as a moderator anyways. I'm happy to make anybody moderators that they want to be moderators. And we are those type of people. You can share channels, share, well, at least, channels that are in the chat and whatever. I mean.
Oh yeah, just whatever.
Yeah.
It's,
we go for the
community thing.
Yeah, sharing the love thing. But yeah, that is interesting on the cross pollination thing. Yay! See, she shows us blue
wrench.
You've got a wrench. You've got a wrench.
Little Garden Big Dreams would like to be a mod.
I can do that since I have it up.
It's free wrenches.
We're giving away wrenches.
Oh, that's funny. But
I think that should work. Did that work? I think so.
I think it usually takes a second.
Yeah, but yeah, that's one thing we've not. The moderator thing, we haven't really gone down the line of doing it. I sometimes post links myself, but yeah.
Oh, you can become a moderator if you want. We just have to give you a blue wrench.
Percy is a moderator.
Oh. When I'm looking at this, because we do
because in StreamYard you
it doesn't show up. So
yeah.
I don't see them in the blue wrench.
Well, we're kind of still at that point. I know it. Hey, Sean, Alaska.
Oh.
We're small enough that we haven't really, we don't get, as a moderator, you don't really have to deal with junk and trolls and whatever because we don't get that. We're not big enough for that sort of stuff. Or we're just not interesting enough for them, maybe. That's also possible.
It's probably the latter. We're not interesting enough.
Yes, 5 away, Sean. Woohoo!
Yeah,
we're 5 away and I think 280 watch hours. So not too bad.
It's all coming together.
It is.
Just like our garden. It's all coming together.
Yeah. Well,
thank you very much for stopping
in.
We're always
definitely
glad that you make it in.
Yeah.
And,
definitely.
Anybody makes it in. It's always fun.
Oh, it's always nice to catch up. And yes, MB, thumbs up, everybody, please. Thank you.
Once we get a troll, we'll know we made it. Well, we do have one of our people that follows us is Troll Forge.
Well,
So
but
we
he doesn't
kinda-
come into our lives.
It's a joke
Oh,
because he's
okay.
not actually a troll. It's
Yeah,
just,
gotcha.
that's the name of his channel.
Oh,
So
Chris Humor.
we've got one.
Chris
but
Humor.
He's the good kind. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but no, we're getting super close. When we set out to do the channel, I don't like. We had kind of that. Can we do it in a year? Kind of goal, but it also wasn't set in stone. Really, I mean, we posted our first video. I think it was July 26th. So that's not too bad. We're gonna be maybe a month ahead.
Well, you learn a lot
Oh yeah.
between when we started.
Oh, the first we go back and we look at the first few months, and holy
I think
cow!
the very first video was the one that the kids did, and I think
Mhm.
they were very natural about it. And then the second video was us, and it was an okay video. It was
I don't
banding.
even remember what it was.
It was banding the Partridge
Oh, right, yes.
I thought we did really well. I was quite impressed with our video skills, and then I look back on that now, and it's like,
Hey, 1-2. MB's is funny. He's gonna troll us just to make us. Hey, Jane.
Oh, that's funny.
Troll us so we feel bigger. Yeah. Oh, it is one of those things, though. It is like the case. You know, once you got a troll, you made it.
Do you mean established as in the farm?
Our farm.
Because kind of yes and kind of no. We've been doing it basically since 2008. So what's that, like 13, 14 years?
Yeah, we're 13 years.
But have moved a couple times. And when we started the channel, we'd actually moved.
We just moved here.
Yeah. Well,
we'd been here for 7 months.
Yeah. So we were kind
of
of
first season.
restarting things a bit. So it's like the gardens and that. None of that was there. The barn was there, but none of the fencing, none of the.
So we bought this place, and it was the barn, and then a lot of
very glad it had
overgrown
the barn.
old horse pasture type thing. Well, there was no fencing on most of it.
Well, you can fence in a horse maybe, but
yeah.
To answer that question, we actually don't fertilize the strawberries per se.
Well, we compost though the dirt that we're putting in to transplant them into every time.
I was just going to say they're in raised beds where we've added quite a bit of composted manure and that stuff to it. We actually have a bit of a plan. So we got our raspberry patch in. I'm getting behind the chat again, but got our big raspberry patch in this year. We're going to get the blueberries planted because that's not done yet, but they're still alive. But this fall, we're going to start being a little more serious on the raspberries because we have 3 varieties that we like. We're going to basically build 3 bigger beds and
not raspberries, it's strawberries. We do have two varieties of raspberries plus all the wild ones, but he's supposed to be talking about strawberries.
Yes. So the whole time I was talking about strawberries, we are planning to.
You can function with no sleep.
We are planning to up our strawberry game a little bit.
Yes, we've made a big decision on our yard.
We're not
but
give
that's
it away
a video
yet.
To come. We made a big decision.
But it is exciting to. I don't know. It's fun to share some of the stuff. Like we get comments from people. I'm going to single out Troll Forge here because he's done that quite a bit. Where he's like, "Did you grow up doing this or whatever?" And it's like, not really.
No.
We're
not from my family had horses. That's it. No gardens. No, they did their own hay, but that was it. We had horses, and that was
my family. My family did have a garden, and my great grandmother lived across the road, had a big garden. But that was kind of when I was younger, so I remember it, but I had nothing to do with it. And then jump ahead to later and just decided really, to be honest with you, the tipping point was just looking at it going back to squash. Squash are one of those easy vegetables, relatively speaking, compared to the cost of them in the grocery store. You could grow them for a fraction of the price of what you could buy them.
Well, and I will say this because I was a minuscule gardener before meeting Chris. I did have a tiny veggie garden. I tried, but not really much effort. But you have more value than what I originally had in the quality of your food. I was quite content to go to the grocery store and buy I'm going to pick on it. There's nothing wrong with it, but I would go and just buy the no-name sour cream. It was the cheapest sour cream there, and I would buy it, and I never looked at the ingredients or anything like that. And then since meeting Chris now, we buy, we look at the ingredients and make sure it's just cream and blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what else is in it. But anyways, The point of the
doesn't
story
have
is
the other stuff in
making
it.
sure that it doesn't have anything else in it. And then that came full circle to the, well, if you want to not have the stuff in it, you've got to make it, which then meant making ketchup and making barbecue sauces and making all these
Thank
things.
you very much for coming in, Little Garden Big Dreams.
Yeah.
We'll definitely catch you later, and definitely appreciate it coming in all the way from Australia.
Yes, thank you so much.
But and thank you, Sean. That I don't know. I'm glad people think we have good content.
Yes,
we
trying.
like to think we do, but I like this comment from Good Gardening, which we were kind of talking about. Yeah, you go back and watch the first one, and you think you did really well, and then you kind of look at it and go,
Yes,
not quite as good as
I'm going to just quickly, where'd that link go that Cassie put in there? I'm going to put open that in another thingy so we can look at it later, Cassie, because obviously chit-chatting now. But anyway, sorry.
So we don't actually, we do have nut trees. We don't have hazelnuts. Hazelnut, there is native hazelnuts. There's beaked hazel and American hazel, both native to Ontario. Beaked hazel is usually a little further north, although there are some pockets of it around. We don't have any on our property. And American hazel is further south. So it's something we've talked about. It's just not been a big priority yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a ton of shagbark hickory.
Yes.
Which are completely edible.
And you're trying to get the chestnuts going.
Yeah, I've got one that definitely survived. So we'll see.
It's not doing so well with it, but.
Okay, well,
so
we'll
I
check
opened
that
that in
out.
another one.
Yeah. We actually have planted our sweet potatoes. It's something we actually have all planted.
All of them.
Which is
but
awesome.
They took priority over our regular potatoes.
Mostly because the regular potatoes will sit in stasis for a little longer than the sweet potatoes will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sweet potatoes, we, what did we end up planting slip-wise? It was 12, and then 30. So what's that? We planted, I think it was 57 potato slips, sweet potato slips. So by Guten Gardening standards, that's probably not very much. But for us, 3 different varieties, almost 60 slips.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's not bad.
Yeah. So I think hopefully, and we planted them in the ground this year.
Well, planted most of them in the ground and
or
a couple
the raised bed.
in raised bed. So we're going to see.
Hey, Garden State Gardener.
How they do. But
hey, Getting Clean on the Prairies. How you doing,
awesome
guys?
That, your channel's going to turn 1 year old too. It's interesting. We'll have to go back. We'll have to go back and watch your first video.
Oh, grainy for unintended short. Yeah. See, we did make the kids do the first one, but I think we went back and they're really choppy. Our editing was pitiful. I think on that. Well, you saying that your filming gets better as you go because you get better at
editing skills. Definitely, you build your editing skills as you go. There's no question about that.
That's what we've noticed for sure.
Going to go back to Crucie's there. We don't use bone meal per se, but this is going to sound bad because we do have the rabbits and the chickens and stuff. We compost that
into the compost. So it all breaks down.
Yeah, by the time we actually use it, there's nothing left. So that is getting into our gardens, and
occasionally a little pice of bone is in the garden, but
not very often.
Not very often.
It does happen, but by the time the heat's treated. So in some ways, you're unlocking those nutrients into the compost.
Yeah.
But to actually use bone meal per se, we've never actually done it, mostly because of that reason.
Yeah, I think that's too. I'm pretty sure Crucie watches Guten Gardening. If not, you should definitely check him out. He's got a lot more knowledge and advice on that sort of stuff because really, we being a farm, we just use the byproducts of the farm on the garden, and it seems to work great. We've never done a whole lot of.
I'm not going to go into any detail about. I talked about the bone meal, but I'm not going to talk about the mud part because it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, diluted. And MB as well. So yeah.
Well, it is one of those things, right? I mean, they're quite historically used because they were available for that very reason.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the same thing like when we had when we were making the cheese and that, and you're putting that product onto the garden as well, the whey and
in low quantities.
Yeah.
You don't want to put a
No.
ton of that on by any means, but yeah, I could see the bone meal being quite helpful for the potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm just kind of catching up here. This has been great conversation. Do you have any more slips? We don't have any more slips at the moment, but we do have actually, 3 or 4 plants that we planted in the house in hanging baskets.
Yeah.
Kind of with the intent of maybe using them to harvest some greens from, but they haven't really done much. They look great, but they just haven't done much. So
we put them in hanging pots in the house. Yeah.
Technically, we could
start
some more because the slips start really quick. We had enough. That's from our kind that we had, from which I'm 99.9% sure is Beauregard.
Yeah,
pretty sure it is.
We actually received them from a friend years ago, and they don't know what they are. So anyway, did someone say sweet potatoes are king?
I think you are the king of sweet potatoes.
Yes. How many? You were 200. Did you say, was it 280 pounds of sweet potatoes last year? I think that's what it was. I'm very curious. I'm sure you're probably going to go bigger this year. You're probably going to get more.
Oh, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did awesome last year. Yeah, nut trees are kind of a funny thing because there's a couple nurseries. I'm not even going to say local, but local-ish is in southern Ontario that do carry them, but they're not carried as much as like the fruit trees and the berry bushes and stuff.
How many pounds? Well, that's a tricky question. We're not very good at growing them. So
the last 2 times we've really grown the sweet potatoes, we've done them in the containers, and we're pretty sure we just didn't give them enough space. So this will be really our first serious year doing it. The last 2 years have kind of been propagating and experimenting.
Well, and I think like last year we only planted 20 slips, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
60 slips is a great number. You should get about 100. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're about three, basically from what Guten Yardning's saying there, about 3 pounds per potatoes or per plant.
Yeah. That's not bad. I mean, I'm sure it's going to vary a little bit by
because I think when we had looked it up, and I want to say that it had said for a family of 4, you would need 75 slips roughly. And we didn't quite get there, but that's okay.
Yeah, next year.
We ran out of space to plant them anyway, so.
Well, we're kind of run out of space to do a few things, but we're still going to get it in.
We're just going to till up more space.
Yeah, basically, essentially, it's the compounds are in there.
Yeah.
For lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah, so when you turn it and whatnot in the spring after it's sat, it's all in there and gets mixed around.
Yep. Yeah, I could definitely see that, Cindy, where you are. That would not be a good thing to add to the garden.
Well, that goes along the same line as people that put the fish in, right? Like it just encourages stuff to come dig it up.
We've been pretty lucky. Nothing much has nothing really digs in there. Well, I shouldn't say that. The coyotes do dig in the one pile that we have. It's our bigger pile of manure.
Our bigger pile of manure.
Bigger manure pile. Our bigger pile of
poop. They come and look for goodies out of it. But it's a circle of life for them, I guess.
I can chat with you about that, definitely, Cassie. At least what we do. Not that that's necessarily the best way to do things, but I think the one big tip there to kind of switch gears from potatoes to editing for a moment is you can save yourself some editing time by.
You're good. I'm just going to check.
You just got me for a minute. You can save yourself some editing time. Kind of plan out what you're going to film. That doesn't work for everything, but it definitely helps. You kind of find that over time you start to film with the editing in mind, and that definitely seems to help exactly with that point. It helps keep you from getting completely overwhelmed. I'm just kind of scrolling down here. 250 pounds. Yeah, that's impressive. I think that's very impressive accomplishment to have grown that many pounds of sweet potatoes, and you grew so many different kinds. Like that's the one thing I often am kind of the opposite way, where I'm hesitant to promote getting too many different kinds of things until you get to something that's simple, like potatoes and sweet potatoes and even tomatoes and stuff, where you can have lots of variety in a pretty small space. It's kind of like you might as well have as much variety as you can. As much as you can handle. Black walnuts. Oh, that'll be good to try, especially on the hazelnuts. I think black walnut's edible, but I believe it's a little harder to process, or messier would maybe be the best way to put it. You end up with, I've done it, you end up with pretty black hands, even with gloves. You usually end up putting a hole in the gloves somewhere, and yeah. That's completely fair, but potatoes, we've struggled with that too, because potatoes themselves are relatively cheap to buy. But it's still that thing of like, well, if we've got the space and whatnot, we might as well, because they're not hard. But if you don't have the space, they would definitely be, I think, something we probably wouldn't grow, just because you can buy reasonably decent potatoes relatively easily, as far as food goes. Did you actually get your slips already? Oh no, so you do have them. Yes, sorry. Yeah, we're kind of in the same thing. Not so much that we need to clear more trees. Like, I know you guys have a much more wooded property, but we definitely have to keep building more gardens. And we just built a new one, or worked up a new one. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, that's basically what we did this year. We tried the, I guess, is it the Ruth Stout method? I never say that name right, but we did kind of bury them slightly, but we made some little trenches, but then just piled the straw on top of them, and we're hoping they come up well. Pickles. Oh, that'll be kind of neat to try pickling them. Or I've never heard of that. But hello, Going Green Mom. How are you tonight? Stephanie just went to check the kids. Check see what order. Okay, well that's cool. We I don't know. The sweet potatoes are kind of fun. They take, well, we started ours so early this year. It seemed like we had them forever growing, but that's because we found those ones in the cupboard that had sprouted, and it was kind of a get them propagating or lose them sort of thing by that point, because they'd been in the cupboard for like a year and a half, which is crazy. But good family. So no longer hungry anymore. Oh, well, it's not bad.
Wow. One child was asleep, one was not.
Okay, so you've got Superior, Beauregard, Georgia Jet. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, wow, you have 60 sweet potato slips. Wow, you're going to have to find some space.
Yeah.
That's cool. I may have to trade you for some of those in the future, depending on how they do, which would be kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I actually haven't looked up all of those. I know.
Well, we think ours are the one.
I'm pretty sure ours are Beauregard, but I'm curious to see, because we have two purple varieties this year. Unfortunately, they didn't come named, but they're two separate varieties, and we kept the slips separate so that we could see how they grew. I want to say one of them, they were both purple skinned, and one of them might have been purple inside.
Mm-hmm.
Can't quite remember. So there'll be a bit of an experiment and a surprise to see what we actually get.
Thanks for coming in, Brampton Gardener.
Yes,
great to see you. Thanks so much. Hope the rest of your gardening week and everything else goes fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Where BC yours house?
Radiance varieties. Interesting.
Yeah.
Shorter season would be kind of interesting on them.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing, and I will say Guten Gardening really opened my eyes up to this, because it was something that I knew there was different varieties of sweet potatoes, but not the massive variety that there actually is, and they're all so different. Like that's kind of
that's
kind
big
of
variety.
The neat part.
Yeah.
It's like when you get into tomatoes and you realize, like, there's tomatoes that don't even taste like tomatoes, or some really weird stuff. So it's neat that the sweet potatoes are actually kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of cool. The one thing we found with the sweet potatoes is for us anyways, it's been a little bit of experimenting to try and figure it out. So hopefully this year we've mastered it.
We what did we do this year? We did a lot of the slips. Like, we started them in the water, and then we moved them to the red Solo Cup type cheap little pots that we used with some soil, and then we planted a lot of the starts out that way. So we'll see how it does.
Yeah, and there's definitely some are doing better than others, but
that just seems to be what happens.
Yeah.
Well, this is the part that I'm quite intrigued on, because the one that we do have and do grow, I will say,
Dusty Data.
I think hello, how are you tonight? I think the ones we have that we're pretty sure are the Beauregard, they do taste a bit better when you've grown them yourself than what you buy. I shouldn't say a bit. They do taste better than what you would buy, but I'm very curious on some of the other ones to see what they like. When you did the stuff with the blue, your blue fleshed sweet potatoes, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
because they were blue, which was really neat.
Hey, Red in the Valley,
hello.
How you doing?
Oh, thank you guys for coming in.
And no issues on being late at all?
None whatsoever. We were technically late by a minute, so.
Well, we keep bouncing around. Sometimes we're 9, sometimes we're 10. We decided we're sticking with 9.
I think we're going to stick with the
9.
And
in 5 subscribers, when we have our community tab, if for any reason we're not going to be on, we will post it. But the 10 o'clock one ran a little late for us, so we went back to 9. But
that's
I'm glad that you got your seeds too. That's awesome. Wow,
that's cool. Is that sweet potatoes or potatoes? Just out of curiosity, going Green Mom. Because potatoes are originally from the Andes.
Oh, okay.
But that being said, there could be a lot of varieties of sweet potatoes in Peru too.
Yeah,
that's something that amazes me, actually. Talking about gardening communities, and it really goes beyond that. But when you think about it, like, YouTube allows you to interact with people from all over the world, right? Which, I mean, we're all very familiar with that. But you think about that in terms of gardening, and think of where plants have traveled around the world to be developed into what they are. It's like classic things like tomatoes, yes, you associate that with Italian cuisine, but they're not even from that part of the world. Or the potato, and there's so many. It's like the beans. We haven't even touched on saving bean seeds, but like there's
dangerous
bean species from all over the world. So it's it very well could be sweet potatoes too. I don't know. I'm fairly certain the sweet potato originates in Africa. Somebody might be able to correct me on that.
I have no idea. I just grow what's in the garden. I just grow what you tell me to grow.
Our sweet potatoes originated in our garden.
Yeah, they're from our garden. It's like when somebody says, "What are you?" I'm like, "I'm Canadian." They're like, "No, but what are you?" It's like, "I'm Canadian."
We'll check that one out too. That's awesome. We're glad that, and you've already got them planted. I think I think you said that back in one of your comments, which is awesome. Hopefully they'll do well for you. Like, both have germinated excellently for us, and they're definitely not crossed with anything, because we only had the one melon, and Miles only grew the one
squash.
Yeah, that one species.
So it should be good. Well, I'm glad that worked out. I threw the Canada. I'm like, you know what? I'm mailing the Kajari ones anyway, so I will send the Canada Crookneck ones too. And as we always say to people, I mean, I know we're getting a little late in the gardening season, but if we ever talk about anything that anybody's interested in, we are more than happy to try and figure out how to get that to people. So especially when it comes to seeds, we always save our own seeds and save a lot more than we need. So provided that, you know, we can get them to you, we're good.
We haven't actually looked into that sort of stuff at all.
No.
We probably should, but we just kind of, I guess that's the thing. We just sort of film what we do and talk about what we do. And
yeah, I don't know how to do all the Amazon affiliate, because I think that would be kind of neat to set it up as a thing. It's one of those things, all that takes time to figure out, and the time just doesn't seem to be there. So we just keep coasting along.
What card did you send?
Was it the horse? Yes, I painted the original of the card for sure. I'm trying to think of which card I sent. I think it was the horse, wasn't it?
Because you got a few of them. I didn't see which one it was.
We should do show and tell with my cards. I should do show and tell. Hang on, I'm gonna go get my cards.
We can definitely make that happen, Cassie. And that's awesome. So did you just get a pressure canner? We apologize if you've got a video on it, but did you just get one, or is it something you've done in the past? Because pressure canning, Stephanie, more than me, I help, but she's the one that does it most. Had done like the water bath canning quite a while, and I've done it in the past too. But pressure canning was like a whole new world, and it's a nice thing.
It's a
nice
slippery
option
slope.
to have.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
You'll want to can everything.
The Belgian horse.
Yes, the Belgian horse.
Yeah.
I will put it on here so that everybody can see it.
The original of on that wall, isn't it?
Nope, that is Suffolk Punch.
That's right.
The original of the Belgian horse is already sold.
I'm always, going back to vegetables for a moment, I'm always floored at how many different varieties of things there are. Like, you can pick any vegetable from anywhere around the world, and there's so many different cultivars and varieties that have been created. It's interesting.
Show and tell. Here comes the Belgian horse card that Red in the Valley got their seeds from. Hopefully I can get it clear enough.
Well, it's pretty clear.
In another world, I was hoping to be a professional artist. I do a lot of pastel and painting and that sort of stuff. So one day I will do a little blurb on it.
We're going to jump around for a moment because there's lots of good topics going on. So that's all, because I think ours is similar to the All-American, isn't it? I forget what ours is.
Ours is a Presto. It's Presto 20. It's the same one, I believe, that North Shore's got. Is it 21 or 28 quart Presto canner? For
the price, it's an excellent one. You can get fancier, but it works really well. We'll have to look into it, because Marianne's saying you can do the Amazon affiliate thing pretty simply. So maybe we'll look into that tonight, just because we do recommend stuff. It's like, this is the book. I just happen to have it that Cassie was talking about. I'm just going to click that off for a second, and then we'll go back to show and tell. But this was the book that we picked up, and it's got some really neat things in it. Like, we're not promoting, like, we're just promoting. We would look at it and go, oh, that's kind of interesting. But I do have a thought, though. I'll do a little spoiler alert.
Hey, Indiana Backyard Gardener. Sorry.
Because we did the one about using the one tonic for the cabbage whites. I've got a second video coming where I re-examine it a little bit, because there was one part of the recipe that I wondered about. We did it anyways, and I've since done a little bit more digging, and I think it'll be interesting. But we'll leave it at that. They're giving away too much.
No, it's okay.
Just catching up here a bit. Yeah, you could. You're way better at painting than I am.
Well, I used to do pet portrait type stuff. So I probably can. I'm going to show you. This is my favorite one that I've done. I hope it'll show well because it's very dark. But this is one. I've already sold the original, but I still have the card. I love it. Hang on. Let's see if I can get it up here.
Yeah, your loon one is quite nice.
My loon. Yay, show and tell time. I've always wanted to show and tell my artwork.
Well, I think it's cool.
I have an Etsy store for the quilts, and I do sell mittens and things like that on it in the Christmas season. I used to do studio tours and things like that for the art side of things, but I've never sold the art online.
You could probably do it.
I should probably talk to MB about that, because he sells his art online, and it probably is one of those, once you got into it, I'm sure it's not that big of a deal. But for me, it just seems like, shipping art and all that sort of stuff is just like, and
well, you don't want it to get ruined.
Because mine is pastels, it ends up being, I should go get my owl.
Yeah, you could do a Holstein.
Oh, I could do a Holstein.
I don't know if you've done one.
I had the Holstein with the calf out in the pasture, but I didn't make prints of it, and I sold it. But it was a watercolor. It wasn't my favorite, I will admit, but it still turned out nice. Yay, I will keep showing it.
Yeah, Stephanie's definitely the better artist, no question about it. I'm more cartoony or blocky. I think that's why I do so well with the bird identification and stuff, because I look at things and go, it's got this color here and this color there, and whereas Stephanie's way better at blending things. She's got a lot of really nice ones, actually, which is and she's done a lot over the years. I think a good book library is worth its weight in, probably more than its weight in gold, because then you physically have that information. The internet's great, but if you can't get on the internet, you don't get that information. Hi, Drops. Sorry, just as usual, we're a little bit. Whoa,
sorry. I was trying to clean off my dirty pictures.
We're a little bit behind in the chat, but we're having some good conversation, so it's awesome.
Are you ready for another show and tell, or are you having conversation?
Give me 2 seconds, and then we'll bring it in. You're getting lots of good compliments on your card, so your owl is going to.
I was doing the wolf first.
Oh, you're doing the wolf? Yes, actually, we do spin the wool. She does most of the spinning, but
you help. You do the
I
carding.
do the carding and stuff. Drowning in chard is not necessarily a bad thing. Well, literally drowning in chard would be a bad thing, but drowning in chard in that you have a lot of chard to eat, not a bad thing.
Ours is coming. It's just slow. Thank you so much.
You do prints? Yeah, you looked into doing prints.
I have prints of some. I have prints of my owl and the wolf and things like that. Like I say, I used to do studio tours and things like that, so I had a lot of stuff for that. To be honest, since we moved and have gone full-time kind of into farming, art has gone on the back burner.
You can look into
NFT Marketplace.
You can license and sell the art digitally.
Oh,
That's
really?
Cool.
Huh.
Something to look into.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Neat. Yes. I think it's amazing. It's so wonderful to be creative. I think that's one of the things. It's where I kind of lean towards doing a little bit of the flower garden stuff too, because although saying that, I'm putting a lot of my 2 cents in to make sure that our raised gardens look really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm not terrible either.
No, you're not.
Good night, Guten Yarden.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming in. We'll definitely catch up with you sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Cassie has set us up for put up Cassie comment. Show and tell. Okay.
Show and tell's fun.
This is no, this isn't my most recent one. I think the owl is my most recent one.
Yeah, the owl.
This one's gonna be a little trickier for me to get in because this is an actual painting. Hopefully it's not. It's gonna get a glare.
I can turn. If I turn the light off, it probably won't. It's behind glass.
The glass is making it a little bit whatever. What if I go a little closer?
No, you're still getting the.
You're getting the computer.
Yeah.
Anyways, you can sort of see it. It's a pastel of a gray wolf. Love it. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, Drops has sent a whole bunch of information. You'll have to write some stuff down here quickly.
Oh, here, let me move this other way so I can write some of that down. Actually, can you? Yeah.
I can come back to that. We'll come back to that comment because thank you for all that information. Sorry, we're processing.
Yeah.
It's like a computer processing. Yeah. That's good that you haven't had any significant damage from some of the storms you've been getting, because they look pretty intense. I will say. That's a good one. Not having to worry about the book being fully charged. That is what we have to tell our kids.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We are slowly building our library of, you know.
Oh, it's great to have the books, because the one thing I find is sometimes you go through the phase of like, I haven't looked at it in a while, et cetera, et cetera. But then you keep it, and a year or two later you come back and you like, you're looking for some specific piece of information that you know is somewhere in the book, and yeah, it's just nice to have it.
Yeah. I don't have. Oh, you've got a pen over there.
Non-fungible token.
Huh.
Okay. Oh.
I better take it off there so that I don't.
1, 2 was asking about the owl.
Okay, hang on.
The owl behind glass too?
Yes.
It'll have a bit of a...
well, most of my stuff is pastel, so it has to be behind glass, unfortunately. I've done a few. My bison one actually is not behind glass, but
no. Hello, Cooking Green Bastard style. Thanks for popping in. Well, he was in North Shores the other night.
Oh,
yeah.
Now the glass, unfortunately, is very dirty on this one. You're joining us just in time for show and tell. So let's see if I can get it on here. There we are.
That was not too bad, actually.
Unfortunately, you are getting a glare back from our computer screen. But that is my barred owl. Chris and I saw that in Ottawa. What park was that in Ottawa? Do you remember?
Jack Pine Trail?
Jack Pine Trail Park. Got really good pictures.
Yeah, that's an option. I don't know. You do a bunch of different stuff.
I don't know. I'd like to keep going with it. I keep dreaming that there's going to be time. It takes me, like that owl took me, what, about a month and a half to paint, to do full start to finish?
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not straight.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I always say it wrong. Ilmirum, which I assume is Illinois. Mirum.
Yes, thanks for coming in.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Anyways, I'm not going to keep going with show and tell. I could. I've got like tons of paintings and stuff.
Good night, MB. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks, MB.
Oh, I caught up.
But I would, like to kind of do some stuff. I was debating on trying to get, well, and then of course COVID kind of came about, and that sort of put an end to art galleries. But the other option too is just to start putting stuff in art galleries and paying the commission, which is nice too. I mean, I started selling art. I think I sold my first painting when I was like 16.
Yeah, you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah. So
I like barred owls, or I like owls in general, but we have one pair here, but where we used to live, we were at the corner of 3 territories.
Oh, so yeah.
When one pair would start going, the other pair, like the other 2 pairs, and yeah, you'd have quite the conversation going between the 3 pairs of barred owls.
I'm gonna have to look into this stuff here.
Yeah.
But long story short, I would definitely like to get back into selling some artwork. We even talked just this week. We talked about in our local area. There's the Thousand Island Studio Tour that runs. Well, obviously not during COVID, but they're talking about it being back this fall, because they do one in the summer, one in the fall, where people actually come to your place and they see your gardens, and that would also give us the opportunity to sell other stuff at the same time.
We'd have to do a lot of cleaning. Our yard is not.
Well, I'm talking a few years out before we got back involved with that. But yeah, it'd be nice to. Prior to being full-time farming, I did picture framing and had the studio.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, you still have all your equipment.
yeah, I didn't sell any.
Kept it all. That goes back to it's like books and resources. When you have equipment that's worth keeping and not necessarily easy to replace, you're better off to keep it.
Marketplace. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Like selling the squash.
Yeah.
We'll time it perfectly that we'll have what did we figure it was? 300? How many pounds? Squash was it?
Oh, it'd be
Canada
2,400 pounds. So
We'll see if we can sell 2,000 pounds of
squash. That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be kind of funny.
Well, it just kind of is that opportunity, you get people coming, and I mean, we talk about trying to do one of those, like an honor stand kind of thing, and getting to the point where you sell some plants and you sell some produce, and eventually we'll be selling meat, not this year or even next year, but probably eventually we will.
An art and squash sale. That would the name would
I thought Little
definitely.
Garden Big Dreams left. She's back. Just can't stay away.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, there you go. And the centerpiece of the art, or the art and squash sale, would have to be really nice, like how they do the bowls of fruit and stuff.
Oh, you're doing a squash sculpture?
Yeah, I do all the squash. Not sculpture, a painting of it.
Oh, okay. Oh, a still life
painting,
of a squash.
Still life of squash.
A big abstract. And watch, it'd be the one that everybody would want. Yes.
Good night. Definitely thanks for coming in.
Thanks very much. Good to see you in here. And
we'll probably bump into you again in North Shores Live this week.
Have a great night, though. I'm back for a little bit.
Oh, that's funny.
It is addictive. It is addictive. I'm a culprit for that too. Chris will stop at a gas station to fill up, and I'll quickly check YouTube and see if anybody's on. And it's like, I got a few minutes, I can stop it. The one thing I hate about being on my phone is not being able to tag. Oh, I can't stand that though.
Yeah. When you're in the chat.
Yeah, you can't tag anybody. You got to type everything out. Oh, oops, now I'm throwing stuff on the floor. But thank you, everybody, for putting up with my show and tell. It was good fun. I have to do a Christmas card and then get everybody to send me their addresses so that I can mail out Christmas cards. I know I'm already planning Christmas, but technically it's only 6 months away.
Oh yeah, winter's coming. we're over the halfway point now.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool about the farm stand tour. That'd be kind of neat to participate in. I don't know. There's been talk about some not the same but similar things around here, but I don't think right where we are there's any plans for something like that right now. But again, there's another thing in the future. You never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's just it. It's kind of getting into it. I'd like to develop a little bit more with the online stuff. I mean, I don't mind Etsy, and I could sell art on Etsy as well. It's just, like I say, it's more of the shipping side of things than that.
This one's funny. I gotta pin this one.
What's that?
Change it to Hickory
Squash Farms. And you'll do horseradish and stuff. Yeah.
That's actually really good.
Well, watch, squash is going to be the thing that we can grow like nobody else.
Oh, you never know.
Amazing. Make our fortune off of squash. All thanks to Miles and his Canada Crickneck. Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to think about Christmas yet.
Yeah. It is kind of one of those things. I just said I do want to make a new Christmas card this year, so I need to start planning that ahead.
I can't believe that we're already like pretty much to the halfway point of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the first half of the year just flew by.
Yeah.
And here we are in June with the garden mostly planted.
But you know what? It is by far the best garden we've ever done. This year, we really, and I'm going to say that is thanks to YouTube, because with doing YouTube, we've been pushed so much to keep moving and keep going, because you've told people you're going to do something, or you have to finish a video, or you got to do, it has been amazing for getting us in gear, which I think has been really good. Because even Alex and James both say like, oh my gosh, we have an amazing garden this year. We're going to have so much food. And it's true. And we've never been as on top of it as we have been this year. And it still feels like we're behind.
Thank you for stopping in a second time. Oh, that's awesome.
Plant your horseradish with potatoes.
We could do that. The only thing is once you plant the horseradish in the main garden, it's there.
Yeah.
But if you had a different spot.
Well, unless you make a spot that you want to do it and then plant potatoes with it just to get it, using it again.
Yeah. Yes, an accountability partner. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's, I don't know, we've done pretty good. Like, even the couple videos we've done where like you set out goals, we actually have one coming up soon to see what we accomplished.
We're supposed to recap our spring goals and reset our summer goals, which are basically going to be the same goals because we didn't do very much.
Not exactly.
We didn't even finish the raised garden beds. We did pitiful on some
maybe
stuff.
That'll be this weekend.
Yes. Thanks for coming in, one too.
Yeah, we're glad.
Hope you have a great night.
You do enjoy the channel. And
yes.
Hopefully, we do some interesting stuff.
We try.
Interesting, maybe.
And we're always up for suggestions too, or trying new things. So, yeah. Yes, with this community, things get done. Exactly.
Yeah, it is very true. Once you've publicly said you're going to do something, you better have a really good reason why you didn't.
Her sheep are our favorite. Oh, that's awesome.
That's funny. It's, well, we've got a few different videos, so you can always mix it up a bit.
Yeah.
We'll have to do something more recent with the lambs.
They're getting big. They're getting big. I need to do one on Annie. So maybe that'll be next.
Yeah.
Telling Annie's story.
Story of Annie, the bottle lamb.
The bottle lamb, yeah.
It's actually really funny, and I won't give it away.
No.
We'll wait for the...
But yes, it's such a great community, and as we build it up, I think it just gets better and better. I don't know. I have to admit, YouTube is more than what I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. It is a much, much more than what I anticipated.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we do the same thing where sometimes you've got things planned and then you reprioritize.
Yeah, because then it's like we need to look like we did something.
I think our biggest reprioritization on record so far was the sheep barn.
Yeah, because that wasn't even in the cards.
That wasn't even. Well, we needed a shed. We were going to do a different thing, and we just woke up one morning and went, "We're doing this." 3 days later,
it was done.
It was done.
Our best project ever.
Yeah,
never goes like that any other time. Yeah, it's like our poor pig. She's about to have piglets, and we still don't have her barn and pen set up.
Well, but she can come in the barn.
And she can come into the barn. See, that's the problem with having the barn is you've got to back up. So it's kind of like, oh well, we'll just put her in the barn this time instead of finishing what we were supposed to do for her. But
yeah, everybody is so supportive.
Mm-hmm. Drops likes the sheep too.
Yeah.
The sheep are a love-hate relationship.
Oh, they have their moments on both sides of that fence.
Yes. Tonight it was a run to get inside because they won't stop bawling at us.
And they'd been fed.
Oh, I know. They had food in their dishes. They just, for some reason, did not want to be in their nighttime pen. But
the one thing too about the Icelandic sheep is there's this whole thing. We haven't really talked about it much. It's the whole thing called a leader sheep, which apparently, if you go back to Iceland, there's like certain strains of Icelandic sheep that have this more. And basically, to put it in a real short nutshell, they're smarter, more independent sheep. And we definitely have one, and she's now had multiple little ones that want to also have that trait, which makes it really interesting. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we were talking earlier actually about the editing, and just sometimes it can eat up a lot of time.
Oh, and we've got the same thing. Like you're saying,
we have a few.
We've got a folder on the computer of like, to be sorted footage. It's kind of like, well, we've made a plan and we've kind of filmed it, but then it's gotten 2 weeks on, and it's like, well, now we can't use it, but maybe we'll hang on to it because you could use some of the footage for something else. And we try to film and post within a day or two what we filmed. Really, I mean, unless we're doing a series or something like that,
Yeah,
then that's a little
more
different. But for the most part, like
you're pretty much seeing it within about a week of when it actually
well,
happened,
most like it's like when we do the garden tours, we try and do the next day. It's on thingy. This week's was actually I filmed it that morning and put it on that afternoon because we ran out of daylight the night before. But
considering that it was just about the longest day of the year,
I know
we still ran out of daylight.
Yeah,
but that'll be interesting on trying that drops. We'll have to watch for those. We've always wanted to do the essential oil thing as well.
you'd said about the still, and that's something we've looked into with the essential oils.
Yeah,
we want to do
something that's on our radar. It just hasn't been top priority right now.
Well, and it's kind of you get looking into it, and the more you look into it, the more it's like, oh, maybe that $200 one's not as good as probably that $500 one. And if you're going to do it, you're going to end up regretting that you bought the $200 one. So it's kind of just one of those. It's another one of those banking on YouTube for later. You wouldn't believe how many things we say YouTube's going to buy later.
Oh, you say that. I don't say that.
I say it all the time.
It's going to...
all my dream stuff that it's just like realistically it's not practical and I don't need it right now. But if YouTube happens to make money, I'll buy it.
And my thing is,
and you're like, maybe it'll pay some of the bills on the farm. You're the party pooper.
I'm looking at it realistically.
Yes, realistically indeed.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about. Going Green Mom is we don't plan it out completely, but often it's like you've got a bit of a framework. I don't know, like you're going to do one on something to do with chickens. There's usually a little bit of a framework in our head of like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to go over here, and you still have the stuff that you film and it just kind of happens, and that's always interesting too. But you did that with the one sheep. It just the lambs were.
Well, it's like the other day when I did the cow update. I wasn't planning to have Daisy running towards me down the channel, but it was just the perfect shot, and I happened to be standing there, so it got clipped in. But it doesn't always work that way.
That's a great surprise. More seeds. You can never have too many seeds. Well, you can, but
well, the one thing we are learning is to make sure that you keep rotating those seeds out. Because that's what we're finding now with our Island Creek Annie beans. Some of them are not as we're not having as good what's that called?
Germination.
Germination.
They're slower, but then some of them
some of them are 3-5 years old. So
yeah,
we need to get better at using them in new ones and labeling and that stuff.
I would say, Crucy, some of our sheep are rather strong-headed. That potentially is a Viking tendency. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I often think that they, especially the rams anyways, but I think they often look like Viking type sheep.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
Essentially.
But they're rustic, I think.
Yeah.
Like
well, they're like the old Northern European type sheep. Yeah, I think that's the big thing, kind of going back to that thing. You just have to come up with something that works for you as a routine, and then it's not so bad. But yeah.
There are some good phone editors for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Wickershire. Is that what you were about to say?
Well, I was going to say hello to Wickershire.
Oh, and good night to Miriam.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming in. Oh, Shortcut. I never heard of that one. What's the one we use?
We use Lightworks.
Lightworks. We like it. It's not that bad. Took a little bit of getting used to.
Shortcut or shortcut? Shortcut.
Shortcut.
That might be one for on your phone. What was the one that I used on my phone? It left a watermark and I didn't like it, but I'm pretty sure Indiana Backyard Gardener uses it and loves it and doesn't get a watermark. So there might be something to. It did a Kind Master. I don't have my phone. But it was a really good one. I just couldn't figure out how to get rid of the watermark, and I didn't like that. I'm not big on you film stuff on the phone. You actually like your phone. Yeah, Kind Master. I'm not a big fan of filming on the phone. I use the camera. Oh, I love the phone. Now, saying that, we want to advance on the camera that we use as well, because I find we just use a camcorder, and I find when you're moving, it's really choppy. compared to, that's why I like my phone, because when I'm walking, for the most part, usually it's pretty steady. It has a good,
I think it's just
steady.
whatever you're comfortable with, right?
Yeah.
Is another tip. Well, that's kind of interesting too. We should look up some of these just to see what.
Well, those ones are on your phone though.
Oh, are they?
You don't. Well, I think they are.
Oh,
the Kind
okay.
Master is definitely a phone one.
Yeah.
I still do. What did she say?
Yeah, I barely know. I do agree. You barely see it. It's just, I forget, it may have just been what we were filming. It showed up on too the one time we did it. I don't quite remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the watermark. Definitely is not a big deal, but it was a nice one. It was so simple to use because that's what we started on, and it was good for a first time for sure.
The editing was one of those things too for us that slowed us down at the beginning, and then we just kind of. You looked it up, found that program, and we just never really looked
I want to
back.
say that it was on that small YouTube Facebook group. Somebody talked about it, and I looked it up, and then it was
we just kind of went
that's
with
a good one. I like it, and we went with it. We haven't really looked back. We don't have the paid version. Apparently, the paid version is better. Like we can't produce HD edited footage with the unpaid one. It drops it down to whatever the single definition, lower quality stuff is.
It's still good enough for the moment.
When we watch it, I think it's fine.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, the Kind Master and the InShot are
both on the phone. Well, it's good to know though, because you do like the phone stuff. But,
well, Red in the Valley, your first video could be your garden update on your.
There you go.
Canada crookneck and thingies.
That'd be a good one.
It's always a good one. I find also starting with something like your garden or something where you're not focusing on yourself is a lot easier too. I think that was my biggest hurdle, was getting over talking to myself. I'm out in the middle of the pasture talking to myself. I think that's like the neighbors probably think we're absolutely crazy.
And now we do it all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And now I don't go anywhere without a camera of some sort. So
I think you got a really good point. If you're gonna get any kind of software, if you can try it out first. Definitely a good idea.
The only thing that we bought the paid version of TubeBuddy.
Eventually,
we didn't start with that, but now we do. That's not editing, but I'm just saying that's the only thing that we do a paid version though. We don't do paid StreamYard or the paid for editing or anything. So, I have been dealing with Windows 10 on the computer. I never even thought about a Windows editing software.
No.
Never even thought about that. Do you like it? It's probably pretty good, I would imagine. Okay, and she doesn't like it. Sorry, read further down. I see in the next comment, I don't like it.
There you go. There's the answer.
Yeah, there we are. I have the answer. Yeah, I found that the Kind Master one was so simple to use. So from a starting perspective on that, anybody who's thinking about it is a good one. Windows machines are banned at Drop Spice.
Yeah, I was actually I was a little bit whatever at first about doing the filming stuff, and now it's kind of just.
And now every time I turn around, you're out there going, "Oh, hi, this is good."
Not exactly.
Not exactly. Just slightly. He's gotten really, really good at just spewing it all out in front of the camera now. You have, because to be honest, I was the one that pushed starting the YouTube channel and wanting to get going with it. And then Chris kind of was skeptical at first. And then as soon as you started talking to the camera, you just didn't shut up.
I suppose that's one way to put it.
Yep. Windows 10 Movie Maker. So
we've not tried that one. But
you probably have it on here.
Probably. It's probably buried in the computer somewhere.
Yeah, because I'm sure it's probably one of those ones that automatically is on there or uploaded.
A bit of everything. It sort of depends. We do have
I'll go get it.
Yeah, you grab it. We've got a little pedestal-y thingy that you can wrap around things if you want to. But I find a lot of the time we do usually just hold it. Sort of depends what you're filming, I guess. But it's a really simple setup.
Inside, when we're doing like cooking or something like that,
Sometimes we do have a bigger tripod.
A tripod that I can put it on. But see, we just use a, camcorder, but we've got one of these things, the bendy leg things that can wrap around stuff or sit on things. It's great because we put it onto one of our wood posts or something like that, and then you can just let it roll as you're doing things.
Put it wherever. Wrap it on a
and it's nice because it's got a little easy thing that clips off so that you can then screw it onto a tripod, so you don't have to do anything fancy while you're out there.
Pretty simple.
The one thing I would like is one similar to that, but that your phone clips into, that holds it horizontal, that you can wrap it around.
Well, that's because you like your phone.
I do. I like my phone for videoing. It's a good one. We got that at Staples. Pretty sure. Isn't it Staples? Yeah. Staples was the cheapest price.
It was both the stand and the camcorder, isn't it?
Yeah. The other thing I really like about my phone is I got a pause button on the
but I hate that.
I know you hate that for editing, but I like being able to run it all as one video. So I just pause and then go to the next thing and push play again. And Chris hates that from editing because it jumps around a bit, but
a little bit. We actually played around with the music thing on a few videos, and to be honest, I think we like it without the music. But then we've got so much like ambiance between
roosters and everything else.
Yeah.
Who is it that we used to do the music through? Because he's saying about getting nailed. It was Eve. Oh
boy.
I don't know. I'd have to go back to one of our.
We've got citations
videos. You just had to put their name in your thing. And it didn't seem to.
Is it Jan's birthday today?
Is it? Happy birthday, Jan!
Yeah, happy birthday!
Happy birthday to you.
another person born in June.
Yeah, Chris's is Thursday. Just so everybody knows, Chris's birthday's Thursday. Send him a happy birthday. Maybe we'll have a community page by then, and I can post a birthday picture. I don't know how fast it actually happens to get a community page, to be honest. Probably not that fast. Is this the paid version of StreamYard? No. We've not actually purchased the paid version. I don't know if there's really that many differences other than the fact that you get more hours.
I'm sure there's something.
It probably runs at better quality, maybe. That's one thing that I have heard.
I imagine it does, yeah. That's not bad for the gooseneck holder for your phone.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That's not bad at all. You should just get one. In case anybody hasn't noticed, if it comes to technology, we're really slow. Yeah. I'm really slow. She's better, but yeah.
We
thanks for that info.
Yeah,
that's funny.
And he didn't even book his birthday off.
No, but I booked the Friday after.
That's true.
It's on a Thursday. Who books a Thursday off and then go back to work?
Quality runs 720. Oh, so we're running at a 380. I don't know. I never even looked into how much it is for the paid StreamYard. But we have gotten one notice about getting close to our allotted time.
That was a while ago. When we did the 3 hour.
That's true. Yeah.
Live.
We did our big, massive, long live. But reducing to the free version. You can.
There's definitely things to look into. This is all stuff that, like I say, we're slow on the figuring out the technology side of things. Hence, for how long have we said we need a webcam?
I know.
A good webcam.
Maybe I'll get you a webcam for your birthday.
There we go. Don't make that promise because then we have to.
I know.
And then you get it and you have to.
But that's the thing, because like when I look, I've got us up on our other thingy so that I could do any moderating or anything like that. And I think we don't look too bad. I mean, we're a little grainy, but it's not terrible. But I don't know if that's our internet or that's StreamYard. This is the part we're not sure on, whether the paid version of StreamYard would improve that at all or not.
Yeah.
But
Well, to put it very simply, I'm a biologist, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of some overlap there with the interest in like seed saving and livestock genetics and all that sort of thing. That's, I guess, where that comes from.
Yeah.
It's where you go down the rabbit hole too much. But yeah, which works out nice, except that June, which is your busiest time, at least for us, for planting gardens and stuff, is also the busiest time for that particular field, because that's when a lot of things are happening.
Yeah.
What are we most proud of growing?
The fact that our garden is in before the end of June. That's definitely
lettuce.
Yeah. Yes.
So far,
salad.
We haven't gotten very far into the year. Lettuce is like, we've always grown lettuce, and we've saved seed from lettuce and the whole bit, but we've never really got the progression very well. And this is the first year, and it had to do with having the grow room, that we've actually, well, we've stopped planting now, but we've got it. Like, we have enough. There's lettuce out there.
We're picking a pound of lettuce a day and eating salad twice a day, and that's never like. It's amazing. It really is an absolutely amazing feeling to just walk out there and be able to fill a bowl and it doesn't even make a dent. I think that's the part I'm most proud of. Is for years we have said, I want a garden that's not just a canning garden. I want a garden that I can go out in the summer and I can pick what I need and not have to go and buy lettuce at the store because that's just ridiculous. And this year we've actually achieved that. And I don't think our canning garden has sacrificed just because we've done that. I think our canning garden is still coming along really well.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have so many tomatoes.
Yeah.
Well, again, we're gonna have to look into this because that's.
What is that? The
she got it on Black Friday sale, and then
10 a month.
Check again. Yeah, there's a good chance I have to look into even how to go about doing that on this computer. There probably is something I can do to it, but it's just the one on the laptop, so it's probably okay, but it's probably not fantastic. I've heard of this Filmora, but I've not actually looked. You want to write that down?
Yes.
I've not actually looked into it to see what it is. This is all, again, new territory.
Yeah. Well, but it's nice because you're talking to people that have used these things and done this stuff. So, like you try to find the information yourself and you're looking up and there's so much information out there and you're just trying to figure out what's the... I
think digital SLR, I think that's what I've got, isn't it? Isn't that what mine is? Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. We actually use that for the photos. And I occasionally will take film on it. It's pretty decent too.
Well, that's what I see a lot of people actually using a proper camera to do their filming, which we never even thought of. We just went and bought a different camera.
Well, it's nice to have them both, though. But,
yeah. It will be like those people eventually. I think most people end up having like 5 or 6 cameras because they've got different things for everything. So,
once you get to that point.
Yeah.
But that's not a very good way to have to spend your birthday. But at the same time, it before you put you to sleep, that's nice of them.
Yeah.
To do that, but that sounds like quite the story.
Mm-hmm. Not the best way to spend your birthday, but
no. But
I suppose needed to be done.
Yeah, exactly. Field season and gardening season don't mix super well.
No.
I would agree with that. No worries at all. That's I don't know. Like I've talked about that before in lives and even some videos where it's like getting into the genetics, tracking genetics and stuff on poultry and that. Like a lot of people kind of stop short of that, and for me, it's like, well, without going down this rabbit hole because it's getting later, part of the sustainability is how do you keep it going, and then of course that's part of it, selecting for traits and keeping genetic diversity and all that other fun stuff that comes along with that. But
all his passions stem from his career.
Well, it's kind of all one and the same. Yeah, with the lettuce thing, definitely. And I think we did better this spring than ever. And we know where the shortcomings were because we have said it before, like the lights in the grow room.
Mm-hmm.
We got a bit of a snag because we could only order half of what we needed to fill the room. And we had a bunch of other seedlings started. So we had nowhere to start more of it at that point, and so
Mhm.
that was like 3 weeks. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
So that 3 weeks kind of did set us back, but then we did compensate for it come time we actually get stuff
Mhm.
planted out. And of course, now we're going to be should be coming up on the warmer months when it's not going to grow
Well, but
super well.
we also got really smart and we did some really nice salad gardens that are actually shaded for probably 70% of the day. And they're doing really, really well. I was going back to, what Drop said about the butter crunch, where our butter crunch is doing amazing. I've never grown romaine lettuce like what we have. Like, it's beautiful
well.
romaine lettuce, like gorgeous. And we're still only picking outer leaves because that's just how we do. We go out and harvest. But the one that we are quite surprised on is the red winter lettuce that we got as a freebie from Baker's Creek, right?
Oh, it's great.
And it's amazing. It's almost like a romaine, but sort of it's not as thick as a romaine lettuce, so it's still leafy, but it grows like a romaine in those long leaves. It's beautiful lettuce. So
I think it is a romaine type.
Yeah,
to be
it takes a
honest.
little bit longer than our leaf lettuce, so it is definitely.
It doesn't grow quite as compact as like what you think of as romaine, but it's definitely a romaine type lettuce, which is kind of cool.
But we've got 4 plants that are about to go to seed for that one, which we're glad because we do want to keep growing that now that we've tried it.
Yeah, it's on the list.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we did get with the what is ours? Canon.
Is it Insignia or Vixia HFR 800 HD.
It's kind of that mid-level camcorder.
But that's the one downfall for us with using the unpaid Lightworks editing program. Even though it's filming in HD, Lightworks bumps it down to only being single definition for putting onto YouTube. So that would be one area where maybe it'd be worth it. But then at the same time, the time it would take to load it up. I mean, it takes 2 hours to load a video on our internet anyway. So I don't know how long it would take to load an HD one. Probably take a while.
Yeah, we've been kind of doing something similar. We haven't let any of them get too big. You've been picking some lower leaves off some of the ones that we're going to let go to seed. But I think there is a few. We've got enough, though. There will be some we'll end up chopping them kind of right off. And if they come back, then that's great too.
Yeah, but we've got lots of staggered growth because we keep planting more, so it should be good.
I'll have to look into that about the YouTube settings thing.
You can request higher quality in your YouTube settings.
Were you meaning to the stuff about the genetics and all that stuff, Red in the Valley, or no? We kind of jump around.
I imagine that's what she's meaning about the.
Yeah, definitely would say romaine can be grown. Like I would say all lettuces can be grown in containers. You just want to make sure you've got a fairly fertile.
It's got to be pretty decent soil, and we find that it's got to be, as much as everybody says good drainage, we find in containers. We went a little too much on the drainage previously, and it was just constant watering and constant drying out, which didn't seem to do well either.
You want drainage, but you don't want it to dry out completely.
Yeah. So, and we found all our container stuff, we used to put them on the deck, and now we set them right on the ground because on the deck, anything was draining through so quickly, it was not being absorbed. Where once we had it on the ground, at least like on dirt, it seemed to hold a bit more moisture in the container a bit better.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we definitely have done that. Actually, that's one thing, and I don't know whether it's the weather or how we're growing them or whatever, but our lettuce has been really, really slow to bolt, which from a seed perspective is what you want. This year, all the varieties have been very slow.
Yeah.
Which is good. Oh, come on, cat.
Our butter crunch is about to get some seeds, which is good because we wanted to save seeds from it this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think basically our first batches that we put out, we're doing the picking the leaves off because we want to get seeds off of those plants. And it's taking forever.
It's very light picking though.
Yeah. And then I think like Drop says after that, I would go out and actually harvest them as proper plants, like take them off rather than letting them climb.
That's one thing actually we did find too on the lettuce front, because exactly what you're saying there, Red in the Valley, is when we plant them directly in the garden, we find we get sort of mixed germination, unless you get a perfect spring where you get like the consistent rains. But
good night, Crucy. Sorry if you're already gone. Just saw that now.
Oh, good night. We'll catch you later. And thank you very much for coming in. But we definitely find with the lettuce, starting them ahead and moving them out as starts, even though they can be quite small, it seems to make a big difference. I don't know. We've had a lot better germination.
Oh yeah,
that way, starting them in a more controlled.
Well, and I hate thinning, so I prefer to.
Yeah, we watched your video on the you're harvesting the spinach. That was actually a really good video.
And it works. We've never done that before. And this year I went out and took all the outer leaves off on the what I can't remember what he called them.
The first set of leaves. And
it's growing amazing now. I mean, there could be other factors in there too, but I'm going to slightly credit it to taking those leaves off because it is really doing well.
Yeah. This is like the first year that it's actually growing.
I know. I think I said that in our garden tour. I'm like, we have spinach. We've never grown spinach. We've never been able to grow spinach. So
no, it's always been something that's never done super well for us. Oh, okay. You upload it and then it's for the viewer. Oh, interesting. Yeah, definitely. We've got a few other little projects we're going to do in some pots that we're going to leave on the ground because they definitely do a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely found we had some herbs. We thought it'd be nice to do them on the deck and even bought pretty pots and it was going to work great and it didn't work at all. We should do a video on it.
That's interesting because I've always thought the tiered planters would be kind of fun, but I could see them being a bit tough from a water perspective because you've got a smaller elevated space to keep it growing.
But a lot of people do the pyramid ones. Like we just watched Guten Yardning's one there where he built the thing with the layers, and it works. But
we even find sometimes the raised beds get a little dry.
Yeah,
you need to water them a lot.
Yeah.
But,
yes.
Carrots. Yeah, that's something that's actually another positive, I guess. Our carrots are done well, and we are ahead of.
They already their flower heads are already drying up. Well, what did they do? Flowers have opened, now they're closed, and they're going to seed. So we've beat the Queen Anne's lace. Yay! Saying that, we haven't planted our carrots.
Oh, we haven't planted. Yeah, well, we planted the new one. But
yes,
thank you for coming in, Jan.
Yeah,
and, happy birthday.
Yes,
that'll be easy to remember because it's not that far from mine.
Jan's 2 days before you.
Yeah. So there we go.
Aw, birthday buddies. Sorry, I was going to go back up to Drops's one there about the cilantro because our cilantro was gone this spring already. It was already gone to seed.
Yeah, the stuff.
I mean, we've tried and tried. The only advantage is it seems to regrow from the seed again. Like always in the fall, I get it. It comes back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we can't seem to grow that for love.
Well, that being said, we haven't given it a lot of.
Well, and we probably should put it in the shade, like what we're doing with the spinach and lettuce. Like now, it's a case of we're learning that it's like the Kajari melons. That's something I should have said to Red in the Valley, and I didn't. I don't know if you looked it up, but they do like part shade. Now we grew ours in full sun last year. Amazing. Mm-hmm. They just ripen really, really, really fast.
Well, the plants expired a little.
And they, yeah. So this year we're trying them in the shade. We're finding them a little slower to get going, but we're hoping it will make the fruit
last
a little longer. So anyways,
Hello,
it's
Miles.
A bit of experience. Hey, Miles. Were your ears ringing? We were talking about you a lot earlier when we were talking about just how many of those Canada crookneck squash Chris had planted.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about some of the tiered planters, if they just would require a lot of watering, which I suppose isn't terrible if they're smaller. Oh, that's interesting. That actually has a reservoir in it. So when they designed it, they were thinking.
Yeah, that's good.
Calypso cilantro.
Calypso.
We'll have to look into that.
Write that down.
You can write. You're a better writer than I am. We are going to look into that one.
Well, because we've had no luck with the one that we are growing. I don't know. They're just your old cilantro seeds. I have no idea what kind they are, but
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Hickory Croft Farm ahead of Queen Anne's Lace year after year. That's actually kind of funny.
Take that, yeah. Well, we said we cut it close a little bit. I think next year we're going to try and go a little earlier into the greenhouse, right?
Well, the greenhouse wasn't finished, so next year the greenhouse will be finished.
We say that there.
Earlier.
See, we're held to it now. Next year the greenhouse will be finished.
Well, there we go. Miles is planting lettuce. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah, we should
planting
plant
lettuce.
Well, we got butter crunch in the greenhouse ready to go out.
Yeah, that's true.
And you actually filled some pots with dirt to plant lettuce.
I did.
Just didn't plant the seeds.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Michigan Gardener also has Calypso.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, there
we'll
you
definitely
go.
we'll definitely have to look into that one.
Drops is more an angle like us. Nothing grows on the one side of the house. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like even on a natural north slope, you get very different stuff growing. Valley. That's actually a good point because we kind of did some poking around too, and I forget where we eventually found it, but it wasn't like a.
Anyways, the experiment this year is we've actually planted them near where our lettuce shade bed is, on an arch that kind of gets sun until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's all morning, and then it gets until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon before it hits shade. So we're going to see if they, and like we say, in full sun, the plants grew amazing, produced tons of fruit. They just all ripened so quickly in the sun, and I think that drained the plants quite quickly. So anyways, experimenting. This is only year 2 of us growing them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So newer for us, but yeah, cilantro, coriander, same plant.
I didn't realize that Drops was that close to. That's cool.
Yeah, he's quite close to the Canadian border.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that from a previous life at some point in the past history. Talking about that.
Chard, that's what we usually end up feeding the rabbits when that starts coming extra because they love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see coriander, whatever, exactly.
Yeah, I did know that. West Coast instead of the East Coast.
Yeah.
But quite close to Canada. Yeah, because I remember you talking about you could like walk across.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
I lived in White Rock, BC for a little bit. So.
And I've never been that far west.
No.
But that's all right.
I didn't last very long there before I moved back east. But that was in my college days. I lived in North Van, then moved to White Rock for a job, and then decided I didn't like it and came back east. Right. Frozen back relatives. Oh boy. Wow. It's a nice spot to live though, over there. I really enjoyed Vancouver. Like from a climate perspective anyways, it was right up my street. I'd take slushy whatever over having miserable, horrible -40 any day. I'm very curious on this Calypso stuff.
I think this is our thing, like what you said, where you have the coriander, cilantro planted is on the deck still, right? It was in a pot.
Yeah.
It had gone to seed, and then the pot just stayed on the deck over winter, and it
came back up, and then it's gone to seed again.
Yeah. So if we just moved the pot, you might be surprised.
If you in the shade,
what happens.
If you put it behind the house, like
yeah,
or something like that, you might be all right. But
yeah,
it's just getting a little bit more on the ball with
well, I think that goes back to
paying attention to
Chair
things.
Project's question about what are you most happy with, sort of thing, is just we say we're not on the ball, but we are better.
For us, we're on the ball. Yeah,
it's getting there. It's all coming together slowly.
The
you can see the stuff starting to work.
Well, and it gets a little bit easier to imagine, a couple more years out what it's going to be like. I think that's the big thing.
A whole lot more vegetables.
Then you're going to have to find a whole lot more garden space.
We already have to do that.
I know. We've already still got, what? All of our russet and Yukon Gold potatoes. There's probably, we need at least another 16 by 30 foot bed just for those.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
We find it's kind of slow at first, the Cajari melons, and then they just sort of get to a point. Go. It's kind of like, we find that with cucumbers though too. You plant them, they don't do a whole lot, and then all of a sudden they just boom and they're gone. They almost grow a lot more like the cucumbers.
Yeah,
but that's awesome that you got some that came up. I think you'll enjoy them. They're
they're really nice.
They're quite good.
We at the beginning. Sorry, I'm going to go through it again. Sorry if anybody has been in here long enough that they're going to hear this story twice.
For your garden tour video.
Yes. Miles needs to produce some more videos. But the Cajari melons last year, we did them as transplants. We put them out, and they did nothing. And so we planted more seed, and the seed actually surpassed the transplants as in growth. They were doing better than the ones we transplanted. It was like it was such a shock to them or something like that. And anyways, really, really slow. And then all of a sudden they just went like rockets. And this year we planted them over in the shade, and we did transplants again. And we're finding it's the same thing. They're slow, although now they've got their secondary leaves now. But definitely, they seem like slow movers, but then once they get going, it's just like, bam, all of a sudden, we were like, holy cow, there's fruit on them.
Yeah.
And it happened really fast once they got going.
How all gardens are nuts, even more so. Well, you see, we've got that beat because we're gardeners. And we're
cat farmers,
crazy cat people. Cat number 9.
Yeah.
So
oh boy, in the hundreds. That's not good. Holy drops there. They've got some heat coming. Is it raining again?
It is raining again.
It's raining again.
Yay!
Yay! No watering. Haven't had to water all week actually, which has been really nice because we were watering so much I was getting worried. How all gardeners are nuts.
Yeah, it is interesting to try to keep track of it. This is where I think I made the comment I think it was in a live, maybe it was a video, I don't remember, about diversity for the sake of diversity may not be a good thing. But you still need, like, if you're growing food in a garden, you still need diversity because you're not going to just eat the same 1 or 2 items. And enjoy it. maybe some people would, but it's like that balancing act between having the diversity to have the variety in your diet, but not going too crazy.
Well, that's sort of it's just coming down to choosing. It's like what we said this year. We grew 10 different kinds of tomatoes. We never do that. And we got suckered into the whole because we did the seed exchanges, and then we saw some other ones, and we got some other ones, and
we're trying.
So we said, okay, we'll try them. And as we're laying it out in the garden, we're like, we're not doing this again. No, we're because of the wanting to have everything spaced and looking at it and going, well, now we've grown a lot more tomatoes than we might even need because we're growing these kinds that we're not really sure exactly what they're going to be used for or what they're going to be like, but we may love them more than others. But I think it'll be interesting to kind of change back to go from the 10 and take it back down to those couple that we really liked. So have a good night, Cassie.
Good night. Thank you very much for coming in. I think we might do the same here shortly because morning will come soon. But as always, it's been a lot of great conversation. I think that's the thing, right? It's getting late, and we're just kind of like, but the conversation's still going.
Yeah, it's good though.
It's a good problem to have with
It is.
people who you're having good conversations with. I'm just gonna kind of go to the end, and then I think we will probably head out here too.
I will go kale over okra. Just like both.
That's something we're really liking having is kale.
Yeah.
We've got the red Russian, and then we've got that curly dwarf kale now too, which is
yes,
kind of nice.
But we didn't. Brussels sprouts is something that we did not grow. We did at our old place, and they did really, really well. But I just found I wasn't very good at using them.
Well, they were just in that spirit of not being too complicated, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and it was one of those things like
we could do them as a put and take.
I was just about to say put and take.
I need to do a video on that. Put and take.
Your put and take agriculture, yeah. But yes, Wickershire, 5 more. We are super stoked.
We are almost there.
It's cats are like, why have you not fed us yet? Yeah, we're so close. Definitely. Anybody feels so inclined to share us out there and get us those other 5, that would be awesome. But
yeah,
it'll
definitely
come.
Keep us posted on how they do the seeds.
Yes,
I'm sure they will all come up for you, which is awesome.
Yeah,
but
looking forward to it.
Yeah,
the updates on things. But I hope everybody has a great night. I guess it's almost morning for some.
Maybe morning for some.
Happy 11/11. Cat's cat butts. Yeah, we always say that's the sign of love right there. Yep. Cat butts.
When the cat loves you, it sticks its butt in your face.
Yeah. But no, they just are like, it is bed. They always get fed before bed. So they're like, why have you not fed us yet? It's late.
Yeah, we actually, our red Russian kale wintered really well. And the drumhead cabbage wintered really well.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Going Green says we're 996, so 4 more then.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Anyways.
Well, good night, everybody.
Yes.
And I keep saying it, Miles, but I will have to actually give you a call at some point. But I will say good night for now. And, we'll probably catch up with some of
We'll see everybody next
week.
Yeah.
Well, throughout the week and maybe next week when we do our live. And hopefully everybody's weather is decent and gardens do great, and if you've still got things to get planted, that gets done. And
yeah.
On that note, we will talk to everybody later.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.